Good morning, Muttonistas. Not often you see me at a railway station at this time of the morning without a bag. Oh yes, it's because it's another football vlog. Today, City are visiting Wolverhampton. It's a 2 o'clock kickoff. I don't like it. The trains are absolutely rammed to bursting, so hopefully we'll get there without causing ourselves any injuries. Join me for the vlog. So as you saw, I couldn't actually board the train that I wanted to board. It was so packed, but I did check earlier. 5 minutes later, a train to Swansea, get off at Crewe and change there, as we used to do in the good old days. So hopefully this one isn't rammed as well. Okay, Muttonistas. Quick change at Crewe, always the solution to one's railway problems, and thankfully the trains are on adjacent platforms. But I have to say, four coaches only on such a busy Sunday. Who thinks of these things at the railway companies?
Platform 7 of the 12.
So, Muttonistas, there we have it. This train has got 8 carriages, nearly empty. You just couldn't make it up, could you? This shows why British Rail does need to be brought back, because you want one company who can seamlessly arrange things as they used to, so that the right number of carriages are on the right routes at the right time. Anyway, should be there about an hour before the game. It might mean that the food segment's been messed up, but at least I did manage to pick up a coffee and a croissant at Crewe station. Crewe really is the place where the world's railway problems can be solved. I do think, though, that Wolves have had the hardest fixtures of anybody. They're down at the bottom on 1 point, but I think there are easily 3 or 4 teams who are worse than Wolves, probably more than that. So I don't expect them to linger down there, but I also think it's a great time for City to be playing Wolves, and I am very confident of a win here. We have, of course, had some tough games against Wolves in recent seasons, and we've also dropped points. So let's hope that's not the case today. I think it's going to be something like 3-1 or 2-0 to City. I can't see them keeping us out, and they are having problems scoring goals and they're leaking goals. Good time to play them, as I said. Well, does that balance itself out over a season? I think it probably doesn't. Might do over a few seasons, but even though we're missing these key men, what an opportunity, given Arsenal getting another red card yesterday away at Bournemouth. So let's hope everything goes to plan. I hope we use the full width of the pitch to attack them. Maybe this is a good game for both Doku and Savinho to play rather than Grealish. Not that there's anything wrong with how Grealish has been playing, but I think that pace is what we need today. But who am I to say? Let's see what Pep does when he picks the team. So, Muttonistas, the train from Crewe was a little bit late. I hope I'll be all right for a pint before I get to the ground. I don't think, unless there's a good street food store, which I haven't seen before in Wolverhampton, I'll be able to bring you a pre-match food segment here. As for the team news, which I'm going to give you now, because as I said, you might not get in, or I might not get into one of these pubs. Very, very difficult ground to visit, and visit pubs home fans only. But as I predicted, we have Doku and Savinho out wide, Haaland, of course, up front. And in the middle, Gundogan, Kovacic and Bernardo, exactly how I would have set up the team myself. Not that I get the privilege of doing that. And at the back, we've got Rico Lewis. I think that's the right call. Walker's had a spotty start to the season. Gvardiol, Johnny Stones, and of course Ruben Dias with Edison in goal. Wolves, on the other hand, have got a bit defensively. Looks like, well, I can't tell whether it's 3-5-2 with the two wide midfielders hanging back very defensively, or 5 at the back. Either way, it's just a question, I think, of City not being caught on the break by sloppy transitions. Okay, Muttonistas, no problems. Obviously, I look like a respectable gent, so I just marched in, and there's a massive sign saying home fans only. But here we are, the moon underwater, a Wetherspoon. I have mixed feelings about spoons, but I have to say, for value, I got myself a pint of one of my favourites, Jaipur, and the price, wait for it, £1.79. I've no idea how they do it, but I hope it's on form. It really is my favourite British pale ale is Jaipur, no doubt about it. That lovely tropical fruit, grapefruit at the start and the dry hoppy finish. It is a bit strong, but that's okay. I'm only stopping for one here before the game. But I have to say, I did bump into a group of lads at the station who were saying they couldn't get in anywhere. Obviously, if you're a group of young lads who are obviously going to the match, they'll want to know what you're doing here. So anyway, sorry about that. I do find the people in Wolverhampton actually quite hospitable and friendly. I have been told the problem is there just aren't enough pubs to accommodate the home fans. Nothing to do with them being a little bit anti-away supporter. Anyway, I'm going to enjoy this pint, and let's hope there's a good game for me to watch today at the Molineux. And I forgot to add, of course, it means I'm match fit. Come on, City. Well, it's great to be back at the club games after that horrible international break. And one thing I'd say about Wolves is that they don't actually give you the most horrible seats in the ground. And we're all up for it today, Muttonistas, match fit and raring City on. Champions again! Champions again! Champions again! What a terrible start. That was way too easy, way too easy. I said beforehand, just watch those quick counter-attacks and we'll be all right. And what did we do? We succumbed to one against a team that is not in red-hot form. Come on, City, you've got to do better than this. Well, there's still a long time to go, but it does feel as if we're trying to thread the ball through the eye of a needle. In the early part of the game, Savio was giving Ait Nouri absolute nightmares. So come on, let's use the width a bit more. Doku needs to do a bit more when he's in possession as well. Go on! Well, he did it at the Bernabeu against Real Madrid, and he's done it again today at Wolverhampton at the Molineux. Jeremy Doku played the ball across to Gvardiol. What a sumptuous curling shot into the corner. Wolves 1, City 1. feeling good about this one now. Go on. Go on. Go on. Oh! So half-time, Wolves 1, City 1. For a few minutes I was thinking I like what I was watching, particularly with Savio against Aït-Nouri, and then a disaster, their first attack, and then a simple ball. We were completely caught out. So we went down 1-0, good move by Wolves, who were behaving, who were performing exactly, I suspect, as their manager instructed them to do. 5 at the back went out of possession. And then City nearly conceded another big chance, and thankfully they fluffed this one and Ederson managed to make a save. We stopped feeding the ball to Savio and started using a lot more of Doku and Gvardiol, and eventually that actually bore fruit, but it was a bit of a worldie from Gvardiol. I don't know, Doku is not giving us enough of an end product. A couple of okay balls into the middle, but a little bit aimless. And yes, it is difficult when the middle of the box is absolutely packed and there's no space. But I have a feeling really he could do a little better. A couple of good saves from Sarr, who seemed to be out of the side a bit. I know that because I had him in one of my fantasy teams, either as a main or reserve keeper. Now, City did turn the screw towards half-time, and it's a pity half-time came. And I was very interested by the positions that Rico Lewis was taking up. I mean, sometimes he was the last man, sometimes he pressed forward and Stones filled in at the back on his side. So an interesting formation brewing from Pep Guardiola. Anyway, I'm confident. I know we've been here, gone down, made it 1-1 and then gone 2-1 behind, but I think this time we've got more reason for optimism. So come on City, get a grip, keep control of the game, and I think we'll get the 3 points, which we really do need away at the bottom of the table side. Well, that was one of the better chances and a bit of a stodgy second half. We can't fashion a chance here. About 20 minutes left, I think, although I can't see the scoreboard. Foden came on for Doku. Doku and Savinho had switched wings, and unfortunately that didn't produce any joy at all. So let's hope that Phil Foden can turn things in our favour. Maybe they'll just tire out and make a mistake, but they're defending well. Move it! Offside from a corner? How can that be so? Maybe it was the build-up that led to the corner, but I thought that was the previous phase of play. Oh well, we'll see what happens. He's going to the screen for an offside? What is going on? What was going on at my end, bundled in by Johnny Stones, probably something to do with obstruction. I don't see otherwise why VAR would send the ref to the screen. About 10 seconds left in my opinion. And it's fair to say I didn't see that goal coming because Wolves have defended so well. colossal win that was. There's a lot of controversy there, a lot to get stuck into, and it might be a post-match more than one pint to discuss all that, Muttonistas. Okay, Muttonistas, I'm back in Manchester. Although I could walk into a pub in Wolverhampton on the way in and say a little bit, I couldn't really give an analysis of the game with a thrilling City last-minute winner from Johnny Stones with a lot of disgruntled Wolves fans in a pub that's supposed to be home only. I'm on the Shandon Stout by Franciscan Well, something I've enjoyed in Cork at their tap room itself. Very nice stout. Has more hints of chocolate, dark chocolate than a Guinness, but still pretty tasty. And before you all jump to the conclusion that Wolverhampton is some nasty, unfriendly place, not at all. The fans that recognise me, very, very friendly to me. And they were very pessimistic before the game, but I said, I don't see any way Wolves are going down. Maybe I'm wrong. There are 3, 4, 5 worse teams than Wolves for sure, and as I said earlier, they've had hard fixtures, and I think they acquitted themselves pretty well today. They defended really well. I know Chelsea stuck 6 past them, but I'm guessing their defending was a lot worse than today. But I suppose it's also to do with what's in front of you. I thought City were a bit scruffy today, a bit stodgy, and yes, when teams come back, or when teams with lots of international players come back to play domestically after the international break, it is always a potential banana skin. I think Wolves sense that. A well-constructed counter-attack after 7 minutes, and there I was thinking, oh, Savio's going to skin Ait-Nouri, and not only did he not get any further joy down that wing, everything else went down the other side. But Wolves took their chance, won 1-0 ahead, and could have got another one as well. They messed up another counter-attack, and thankfully Edison saved it. It was just a bit too much on the final ball. And from then on, it was a lot of frustration. City were in command, and we got back into the game with a bit of a worldie from Guardiola. At least he's one of the defenders who's got a good shot on him, because the pattern of the game after that was City having a lot of the ball being recycled across the front of the box, but the only people who were ever in a position to shoot were Ruben Dias and Kovacic. Reminds me of the Arsenal game. If our wingers can't beat somebody one-on-one, then we're finding it actually quite difficult to score against these low blocks. I think at least Guardiola did provide a good overlapping option along with Doku, so that's probably why the ball went down that side a bit more. City were turning the screw. We were looking good just before half-time, which came at the wrong time, I think. And then in the second half, it got stodgy and stuffy again. Indeed, Wolves did have one decent counter-attack. And it's obviously thirsty work describing this, so I'm going to sample the Guinness now. After another quick slurp of Franciscan Well, the Shandon. Right, Muttonistas, a little interlude in terms of my rambling on about the match. Pint of Guinness here. Barman felt he was under pressure pouring me one, but it is a nice pour. Look at that, looks like a fantastic head. Yep, and it's another cream of Muttonistas. Pretty good pint, that is. Anyway, Callum and Doogie, who went to the match as well, are with me, and I want to hear their thoughts on the game before I wrap the video up.
I thought today, first half, very, very flat, very, very sloppy from the boys. Second half, come alive, did what we had to do, won the game. That's what the champions are about, aren't we, Cal?
Do you know what? Typical City, shit all game, weren't we, Dougie?
Absolutely.
Shit all game, but we do it when it matters. Winner at the end, and that's it, up the Blues. Cheers.
So the lads basically echoed my thoughts. We did get caught too often in transition. and that's how their 3 big counter-attacks started off. One was a goal, one should have been a goal, and the other one just petered out. A lot of pressure, a lot of recycling the ball in front of their box, in front of their back 9 basically, but no penetration, and this is where Rodri's miss. A, he recycles the ball and passes quickly and plays incisive forward balls, and B, if we're in that situation, he can hit them from the edge of the box. So everybody says, oh, Mutton, you're a bit pessimistic about how things are this season. Well, I think I'm right to be. We may well win the league, but it is going to be a bit of a struggle without him. And then the winning goal. Wolves have been bringing on a lot of defensive players. At half-time we'd switched Savio and Doku. That didn't work. Then we brought Grealish on, and we actually looked better when Jack Grealish came on, I have to say. And then Phil Foden came on, and both the wingers had been taken off the pitch. We forced a succession of corners at the end, which was possibly bad defending by Wolves on their part. They could have done a bit better there. And eventually we got the telling goal, literally with the last kick of the game. I was looking at my watch thinking, this is the last one, and it proved to be so. But very, very controversial. Some suggested that Bernardo Silva was backing into the keeper. In terms of when the ball came over, he actually ducked, so he was definitely not in the line of sight of the keeper. And from what I've read, it was a fair goal and correctly stood. And Johnny Stones, the man again, Johnny Stones, bailing us out for the second time in 3 fixtures. What an important goal that could be at the end of the season. I'm not actually used to seeing City win late on. We either wrap it up early, or by the time it's come to that stage, we never usually get those late goals. Even Pep Guardiola said that today himself. Yes, Oscar Bob last season at Newcastle, I remember that one. And of course, late Stones equaliser against Arsenal as well. But it's not the way I'd like to see us winning games, but they will all count at the end of the season. A few of those could be enormous. So, Muttonistas, enough of me waffling away. Time for me to wrap this one up. My next football vlog will be home to Sparta Prague in the Champions League on Wednesday. Of course, don't forget my vlogs don't come out on the same day. Hoping for a more comfortable affair there, although you never know with City, and the games are coming thick and fast, so lots of content, especially football content, coming up. But until then, Muttonistas, a quick slurp. And please remember to share my content. Very important that as many people get to see it as possible. Please remember also to like, because there's that YouTube algorithm, and you help push me up so that more people see my content. It might be the way that you yourselves managed to see my content originally. Also, of course, don't forget to subscribe. But most importantly, don't forget, you can't beat a bit of mutton.